Hello, everybody. I'm going to redo this intro to basic image processing in Photoshop video. And yesterday, which was April 22nd, was a great day for dramatic clouds. So I went out and did a few landscapes just around town, actually, and managed to get some good viewpoints up by the coffee shop Plateau Espresso on Scenic Drive and shot a few. So let's take a look at this and we'll show you a little bit about editing. Here we go. So we're going to open Bridge, our browser first, navigate over to folder from the camera, the Nikon 610, there it is. Okay, and I got a lot of pictures on this SD card, so it's going to take a few seconds for it to load in the browser window. I have to erase this, and I've got a lot of stuff on here. So let's see what we got from yesterday. Way down here at the bottom. We're getting closer. Okay, let's look around here a little bit, and we'll pick out an appropriate image. Oh, that's for the walking prescription trails brochure. Okay, so we have some nice clouds. I'm going to look at some of these here and pick out one, and we'll do a processed enlargement of it. Very nice things going on yesterday. I love it when the clouds get all dramatic. Look at that stuff. That's good stuff. Once in a while here in Alamogordo, I tell you what. See that? Look at those clouds. Best stuff. Okay, let's see. I have more there. Oh, I got one more down there. That's pretty good too. Think I like this one. It's a vertical and it looks pretty dramatic, so we're going to open this up in Photoshop. And the end result is going to be my favorite, a black and white. So here we are in Photoshop Lite, Camera Raw. And again, I'm going to apply lens corrections. I had a 80 to 200 Nikon lens in there, and it's already got it in the database, so it saves the corrections. The distortions are at 100%. Vignetting corrections at 100%. So open the image up. Okay, then we're going to rotate it. And fit it on screen so we can see the whole thing. There we go. Look at those clouds, huh? That's pretty good stuff. So my end result here is going to be a black and white. And so I want to go through the steps to do that. Just very simply going to approach this. First, I'm going to actually do some image corrections to it in color. And remember, I'm going to tuck in that bottom end. About there, I'm going to make the sky a little bit more dramatic by darkening down those clouds. Look at that stuff, huh? Can't go wrong with that. Okay. Now, even though it looks kind of nice in color, I really don't think this image is about the color. I think it's about the tonality. So I'm going to shoot it over into black and white. There we go, there's black and white. Now let's look at the different filters to see the different effects you get. Remember, when you use, when you're in black and white correction in Photoshop, when you apply a blue filter, it lightens things that are blue and it darkens things that are the opposite of blue. And, Photoshop did a really nice job simulating what happens as compared to if you were to shoot with film. Spent a lot of years shooting with film, so it kind of impressed me. So that's blue filter. You notice the clouds started to blend in a little bit more with the sky background. Green filter is kind of a neutral filter in this color palette. So it just kind of rendered everything pretty much as it would render without filtration if you were shooting in black and white. High contrast blue. See, things almost drop out there. Now let's go for a little more drama. High contrast red. Look at that, huh? That's pretty dramatic. It was kind of nice yesterday. We'll take a look at a few more here also. They have a good simulation of infrared. I've done a lot of infrared photography, and it's kind of involved using infrared camera and refocusing the lens because infrared color focus has a different focus distance than regular orthochromatic or regular black and white film would have, or color infrared for that matter. And you need a weird black infrared filter that only infrared light passes through. I happen to have one, very expensive filter. But there's infrared, not much difference, see? So here's a red filter. That's pretty good. But I like the high contrast red filter. That's drama, yeah? Okay. And don't forget, you always have these other sliders available to you when you're correcting in black and white. So you can add a little bit more, a little bit less red filtration, whatever you want to do to it, and see the effect that you get. Sometimes you get a big effect, sometimes you get very little. Okay, now we're going to size this thing. So I'm going to make it an 18-inch tall print. And remember, I'm reducing it, so we've got these different algorithms here for sharpening and sizing. We're going to reduce it, right? It's going bigger than it was. It makes about a 20-inch tall image at 300 pixels per inch. We're going to take it down, and so I'm going to use bicubic sharper for reduction. Click, go OK. There we go. Nice job on that. And now we want to see if we want to apply a little sharpening to it. Remember the professional way I showed you to sharpen things? Oops, mode over to lab color. Then you go down to the palettes over here with channels. Go down to lightness because you don't want to sharpen color, you just want to sharpen tone and detail, right? So then you go over to filter, down to sharpen, and I'm going to use the unsharp mask. Unsharp mask gives you this window. I'm going to scroll down to where I see edges with detail because that'll help me determine sharpness. There we go. There's the Organ Mountains. So it came up at 196%. I'm not going to give it that much sharpening because what I found with this Nikon D610 is it doesn't require a lot of sharpening. If you can over sharpen pretty easy. 0.8 pixels is good. Remember, you want to stay under 1 pixel. Threshold kind of cuts down on that white edge sharpening gives you. So, use a few levels, 3 to 8 levels. Will do a nice job of taking out some of that a little tiny white line that you get around contrast edges. So that's good on that. Now we'll go image, mode, back to RGB color, red, green, and blue. And there's your finished image. Let's zoom in a little bit and see what kind of detail we got here. As you can see, it's pretty dramatic. The sky was just awesome yesterday. I actually took off with my daughter to go do pictures of her and her boyfriend walking the different hiking trails around town for the New Mexico prescription trails brochure I'm working on. And the clouds were so cool. I said, "Wait!" I had to run out and shoot some pictures. So there we go. And don't forget when you save your image, you've got two folders, right? You've got one for your raw pictures that you just load them right from your SD card into that folder, raw, unprocessed. Then as you work on them, you save them into another folder with processed images. That way you don't get the two confused, and you've always got that one folder of raw data images to refer to, so you don't have to worry about overwriting a file and messing up the raw data file, right? So just work on that. I'm going to put it in my camera roll folder for now. Save. I'm going to save it as a big JPEG. You can save it, of course, as a Photoshop file if you want to. I'm just doing it this way to compress the file a bit and because it's a fully processed file. So don't forget when you open JPEGs, and if you do image correction to them and save them again, it's actually compressing that compressed JPEG. So every time you open it, you're losing a little bit of quality. So if you anticipate, making multiple corrections, then you might want to just go ahead and save them as a PSD file. That way, you're not losing any data and you're not losing image quality as you open, correct, and close the image over multiple times, that kind of thing. So there you go. There's a little video on how to do that kind of stuff. More coming up again soon.